Excuse me. I'd like to call the regular town board meeting of October 14, 2025 to order. Please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence to remember those who served our country in the past and for those who continue to protect our country today. Thank you. Please note the emergency exits, the doors you came in, and the doors at both ends of the hallway. Okay, there are no public comments for the agenda item, so Merson, would you like to start?
Sure. Good evening. Resolution 1, set public hearing for Dover Ridge assessment rolls. Whereas the assessor to the town of Beekman has completed and filed the assessment rolls for the Dover Ridge Water and Sewer District pursuant to Article 15 of the New York State Town Law, and whereas pursuant to Section 239 of the Town Law, a public hearing on such assessment rolls shall be held. Now therefore be it resolved that a public hearing to gather resident input on the Dover Ridge assessment rolls will be held on November 6, 2025 at 6:05 p.m. at the Beekman Town Hall, 4 Main Street, Poquay, New York, and that the notice shall be published in the Poughkeepsie Journal, a newspaper circulating in the town of Beekman, stating that the Dover Ridge Water and Sewer District assessment rolls have been completed and that the town board will meet and hear any objections which may be made to the rolls at that time and place specified above, and that such notice shall be posted on the bulletin board in the town clerk's office and placed on the Town of Beekman website. And be it further resolved that the town board will also accept written public comments until 4 p.m. on November 6, 2025.
I'll second.
Town board discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilman Capillari?
Aye.
Councilman Badalini?
Aye.
Councilman Limak?
Aye.
Councilman Warman?
Aye.
Supervisor Cavucci?
Aye.
Resolution passed.
Resolution number 2, to set public hearing for Elena Estates assessment rolls. Whereas the assessor to the town of Beekman has completed and filed the assessment rolls for the Elena Estates Drainage District pursuant to Article 15 of the New York State law. And whereas pursuant to Section 239 of the town law, a public hearing on such assessment rolls shall be held. Now therefore be it resolved that a public hearing to gather resident input on the Elena Estates assessment rolls will be held on November 6, 2025 at 6:10 p.m. at the Beekman Town Hall, 4 Main Street, Poquay, New York, and that notice shall be published in the Poughkeepsie Journal, a newspaper circulating in the town of Beekman, stating that the Elena Estates Drainage District assessment rolls have been completed and that the town board will meet and hear any objections which may be made to the rolls at the time and place specified above, and that such notice shall be posted on a bulletin board in the town clerk's office and placed on the Town of Beekman website. And be further resolved that the town board will also accept written public comments until 4 p.m. on November 6, 2025.
I'll second. Town board discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilman Capillari?
Aye.
Councilman Badalini?
Aye.
Councilman Limak?
Aye.
Councilman Warman?
Aye.
Supervisor Cavucci?
Aye.
Resolution passed.
Resolution number 3, whereas the Town of Beekman's accounting office recommends certain budget revisions based on department requests and our accounting office review and analysis of expenditures or revenues, now therefore be it resolved that the following itemized revisions are approved by the Town of Beekman Town Board, identified as budget revision number 2025-92, as follows.
I'll second.
Town board discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Councilman Capillari?
Aye.
Councilman Badalini?
Aye.
Councilman Limak?
Aye.
Councilman Warman?
Aye.
Supervisor Cavucci?
Aye.
Resolution passed.
Resolution number 4, whereas the town board has approved the acquisition of a new highway truck for $356,198.56, And whereas the town board deems it appropriate to transfer $300,000 from the general fund to the highway machinery reserve fund for the partial cost of the vehicle, and whereas the full cost of the vehicle will be expended to the highway machinery reserve fund when the vehicle is received in 2026, and whereas it's determined that the expenditures of the money from the highway machinery reserve fund is subject to permissive referendum, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Beekman authorizes the town clerk to publish the notice of expenditure from the highway machinery reserve fund and to post a legal notice informing the taxpayers of this planned action, which informs the eligible voters that it is their right to file a petition to require the matter to be subject to voter approval.
I'll second that.
Town board discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Councilman Capillari.
Aye.
Councilman Valentini.
Aye.
Councilman Lemak.
Aye.
Councilman Warman.
Aye.
Supervisor Cavucci.
Aye.
Resolution passed.
Whereas the Highway Department has received a proposal for a dump truck and a quote dated August 26, 2025 through Damier account 032824DAI from Robert H. Hoover and Sons, Inc. for the following vehicle equipment. 1 2026 Freightliner 114 SD Plus, complete with a 12-foot snowplow, unibody, multitask body for a total of $356,198.56. And whereas it is recommended that the source of funds for the vehicle will be appropriated from the Highway Machine Reserve Fund balances, now therefore be it resolved that the town of Beekman hereby approves the acquisition of the new dump truck in an amount not to exceed $356,198.56.
I'll second that.
Town board discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Councilman Capillari.
Aye.
Councilman Valentini.
Aye.
Councilman Lemak.
Aye.
Councilman Warman.
Aye.
Supervisor Cavucci.
Aye.
Resolution passed.
Resolution 6, update the code book. Whereas funds have been approved and appropriated in the current budget for the updates to the town's code book, and whereas the town clerk has received an estimate for the updates. Now therefore be it resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized to work with the vendor to complete the updates to the town of Beekman code book for an amount not to exceed $7,200.
I'll second. Town board discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Councilman Capillari.
Aye.
Councilman Valentini.
Aye.
Councilman Lemak.
Aye.
Councilman Warman.
Aye.
Supervisor Cavucci.
Aye.
Resolution passed.
Resolution number 7, whereas the town of Beekman purchases gasoline through a bid issued by the New York State Office of General Services, and whereas the town and county have a joint agreement in place to provide storage space in its fuel farm system so that the town of Beekman's gasoline can be stored and dispensed as needed. Contract number 22-0074-12/22-BW, and whereas the town wishes to extend the contract through December 31st, 2026, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Beekman authorizes the supervisor to sign a change order for four-term extension date to January 1st, 2026, extending the agreement through December 31st, 2026.
I'll second. Town board discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilman Capillari.
Aye.
Councilman Valentini.
Aye.
Councilman Lemak.
Aye.
Councilman Warman.
Aye.
Supervisor Cavucci.
Aye.
Resolution passed.
Resolution number 8, be it resolved that the town board of the town of Beekman, upon presentation of a permit fee pursuant to Chapter 110 of the Town Code in the amount of $1,000, does hereby authorize the supervisor to execute a general permit agreement allowing Death Ridge Road to hold a one-night event on Friday, October 31st, 2025, and does hereby authorize the town board, subject to its standard policies, procedures, and charges, to provide traffic control assistance via the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office, subject further to the owner's consents agreeing to indemnify, defend, and hold the town and its officials harmless, and providing the town acceptable proof of general liability insurance, naming the town of Beekman as an additional insured, and be it further resolved that the general permit shall expire on November 1st, 2025, and be subject to renewal pursuant to a new permit application for 2026. The foregoing was put to a vote which resulted as follows.
I'll second.
Town board discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Councilman Capillari.
Aye.
Councilman Valentini.
Aye.
Councilman Lemak.
Aye.
Councilwoman Warman.
Aye.
Supervisor Cavucci.
Aye.
Resolution passed.
Resolution number 9, Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Beekman, upon presentation of a permit fee pursuant to Chapter 110 of the Town Code in the amount of $3,000, does here authorize the supervisor to execute a general permit agreement allowing Barchard Orton's Bar and Entertainment Co., LLC, to hold events, and does hereby authorize the Town Board, subject to its standard policies, procedures, and charges, to provide traffic control assistance via the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office, subject further to Barton Orchards receiving all required building and other permits and owner's consents, agreeing to indemnify, defend, and hold the town and its officials harmless, and providing to the town acceptable proof of workers' compensation insurance and general liability insurance, naming the town of Beekman as an additional insured, and be it further resolved that the general permit shall expire on December 31st, 2025, and be subject to renewal pursuant to the new permit application from 2026. The foregoing was put to a vote, which resulted as follows.
I'll second.
Town Board discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Councilman Capelari.
Aye.
Councilman Badalini.
Aye.
Councilman Limak.
Aye.
Councilman Warman.
Aye.
Supervisor Cavucci.
Aye.
Resolution passed.
Whereas the toddler playground at the rec is in need of replacement part, and whereas a quote was received from Playground Maintenance Corp., DBA Playground Medic, 50 Broadway, Hawthorne, New York, 10532, to supply and install one section of damaged crawl tube in the amount of $3,898, and whereas the monies will come from the transfer of the funds in the October budget revision. Now therefore be it resolved that the supervisor is authorized to sign the quote from Playground Medic, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $3,898 for the playground repair at Rec Park.
I'll second.
Town Board discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Councilman Capelari.
Aye.
Councilman Badalini.
Aye.
Councilman Limak.
Aye.
Councilman Warman.
Aye.
Supervisor Cavucci.
Aye.
Resolution passed.
Resolution 11, resolution of the Town Board of the Town of Beekman authorizing the hiring of one temporary laborer by the Town Superintendent of Highways to serve within the Town Highway Department for the period of October 15th, 2025 through December 31st, 2025. Whereas the Town Highway Department has historically hired an additional laborer or laborers on a temporary basis to provide snow removal and related services during the winter months. And whereas the Town Highway Department employee currently on workers' compensation leave is anticipated to return to duty in November 2025. And whereas the Town Board finds it likely that the additional manpower may be required to efficiently and timely remove snow, plow, treat, and make passable the 137 lane miles of road under the jurisdiction of the Town Highway Department. And whereas the Town Board, in conformity with and in discharge of its fiscal and budgeting duties and obligations, has determined that the hiring of one temporary laborer is necessary to fulfill this public purpose. And whereas the Town Board, in conformity with and in the discharge of its fiscal and budgeting duties and obligations, has determined that the town funding is available to support the hiring of one additional laborer within the Town Highway Department for the period commencing on October 15th, 2025, and concluding on December 31st, 2025. And whereas the Town Board, in conformity with and in the discharge of its fiscal and budgeting duties and obligations, has determined that the public funds are available from the Highway Fund to cover the costs associated with the hiring of one additional laborer within the Town Highway Department for the period commencing on October 15th, 2025, and concluding on December 31st, 2025. And whereas the Town Board, in conformity with and in the discharge of its fiscal and budgeting duties and obligations, has determined that the hiring of one additional laborer within the Town Highway Department for the period commencing on October 15th, 2025, and concluding on December 31st, 2025, would be a prudent and constitutional expenditure of municipal funds. And whereas the Town Board desires to authorize the funding necessary to permit the Town Superintendent of Highways to recruit and hire one additional laborer within the Town Highway Department for the period commencing on October 15th, 2025, and concluding on December 31st, 2025. Now therefore, it is hereby resolved that the Town Board hereby authorizes the expenditure of $24.70 per hour from the Highway Fund for the purpose of hiring one additional laborer within the Town Highway Department for the period commencing on October 15th, 2025, and concluding on December 31st, 2025, to assist with the removing of snow, plowing, treating, and making passable of the 137 lane miles of road under the jurisdiction of the Town Highway Department. And let it be further resolved that the employment of the one additional laborer within the Town Highway Department shall terminate on or before December 31st, 2025 at 11:59 PM Eastern Standard Time, and that no town funding shall be available or utilized to continue the employment of such laborer beyond such date and time. And let it be further resolved that the Town Superintendent of Highways is authorized to proceed with the process for hiring one additional laborer within the Town Highway Department for the period commencing on October 15th, 2025, and concluding on December 31st, 2025, in accordance with all applicable laws and regulations, including prevailing wage requirements where applicable, and it is further resolved that the certified copies of this resolution be forwarded to the Town Treasurer, Town Clerk, Town Superintendent of Highways, and Town Account Clerk.
I'll second.
Town Board discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Councilman Capellari.
Aye.
Councilman Vanellini.
Aye.
Councilman Limak.
Aye.
Councilman Warman.
Aye.
Supervisor Cavucci.
Aye.
Resolution passed.
Resolution number 12, payment of claims. Whereas the bookkeeper has ordered and approved claims pursuant to Section 119 of Town Law, as set forth in the attached abstracts, be it resolved that the payment therefore is hereby authorized as follows. Claims to be paid from the A General Fund, $69,527.11. Claims to be paid from the DA Highway Fund, $10,640.95. Claims to be paid from the SS Dover Ridge Sewer, $14,404.60. Claims to be paid from the SW Dover Ridge Water, $7,483.30. Claims to be paid from the T-Trust Fund, $2,512. Claims to be paid from the H Capital Fund, $50,194.25, for a total of $154,762.21. September 25th, 2025, payroll number 20, out of the General Fund, $35,302.91. Out of the Highway Fund, $22,104.31, for a total of $57,407.22. On the October 9th, 2025, payroll number 21, out of the General Fund, $36,939.41, and out of the Highway Fund, $22,711.49, for a total of $59,650.90.
I'll second.
Town Board discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilman Capellari.
I'm going to be abstaining from this vote. I haven't had an opportunity to review these items and review these bills and vouchers, so I abstain from this vote.
Councilman Vanellini.
Aye.
Councilman Limak.
Aye.
Councilman Warman.
Aye.
And Supervisor Cavucci.
Aye.
Resolution passed.
Resolution number 13, whereas the town cleanup day has been scheduled for Saturday, October 25th, 2025, between the hours of 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. in the Town Hall parking lot. And whereas 2 bids were received for services as described in the legally published notice and opened and read publicly by the town clerk on Tuesday, September 30th, 2025, now therefore be it resolved that Royal Carting be awarded the contract for cleanup day with the following per ton rates: MSW, $280 per ton, tires $623 ton, E-Way 687 ton, and be it resolved that the supervisor be and hereby is authorized to execute any and all documents necessary to carry out the services.
I'll second.
Town Board discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilman Capellari.
Aye.
Councilman Vanellini.
Aye.
Councilman Limak.
Aye.
Councilman Warman.
Aye.
Supervisor Cavucci.
Aye.
Resolution passed.
Sharon, you've got something?
I do. There's a jack-o'-lantern contest. You must pre-register to drop off your carved decorated pumpkins at the rec office from 9 to 4, Friday, October 17th, or on Saturday, October 18th, from 11:30 to 12:30. No entries will be accepted after 12:30. Winners will be announced at 4 p.m. on October 18th at the end of the Beekman's Fall Community Festival. And I also have the advertisement for the Community Festival will be October 18th from 1 to 4. Free to Beekman residents, pumpkin patch, kids crafts, fun games, face painting, inflatable corn maze, pumpkin carving contest, Say grilled cheese food truck will also be there.
And Azio?
Okay, the county is sponsoring a picnic for the veterans and also a pasta dinner entitled Red, White, and You Veterans Appreciation Picnic, Saturday, October 18th at James Baird State Park. The free picnic covers veterans as a welcoming opportunity to relax, enjoy a meal and live music, and connect with fellow veterans and their families in a respectful, supportive environment. County Executive Serino also invites veterans to a complimentary pasta dinner in appreciation of their service and sacrifice. The dinner is organized in accordance with the Mental Health America Dutchess County, will be held in Pine Plains and Poughkeepsie. Registration for each of these events is required by calling 845-486-2000 or emailing countyexec@dutchessnewyork.gov. And veterans may bring one guest to enjoy the day with. So,
Thank you, Azio. Our next meeting is going to be October 27, 2025 at 6 p.m. And public comment, Kate Blake.
Good evening. Kate Blake, 231 Clap Hill Road. Tonight, I'd like to pose a question as the board considers the tentative budget that was introduced at the last meeting. At the beginning of the budget is a letter to the board and residents that shares some budget facts. Specifically, the 2026 budget expenditures total $5.32 million compared to $5.698 million in 2025. Also, the letter states that the tax rate will be reduced from $1.80 to $1.30 per $1,000. This works out to be a reduction in spending of 6.6%, with a reduction in the tax rate of 27.7%. For context, our revenues this year were projected to be $8.34 million and will decline under the new tax rate next year to $7.64 million. That's a projected decline in revenues of almost $700,000 in 1 year, $696,519. The letter also states at the conclusion that Beekman needs to maintain a fiscally sound foundation in order to move forward with long-term plans, which I absolutely agree with. I was wondering what analysis the board is doing and hope that you consider these comments over the next couple of weeks to ensure that such a significant tax reduction, which just to put numbers to it, it is equal to over 4 times the spending reduction in the tentative budget, to make sure that that reduction isn't in conflict or out of alignment with those stated goals of maintaining a fiscally sound foundation for long-range plans, especially when taken in hand with the budget item tonight for over $350,000 in new spending, which was approved unanimously and without discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
6:24.